Jump in and just finish your
Mind your own damn business.
Oh, this is my business.
No, it's
you
not.
like to jump in? Go and
I
jump
can do
in.
whatever the I want to.
Ooh,
okay?
ooh, ooh.
Sit your ass right there.
I'm sitting, bitch.
Hello. Welcome to the Global Dynasty YouTube channel. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into today's topic because we have a lot to unpack. The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 7, Episode 9, Ambush in Paradise. Let's get into it. The opening scene starts out with the ladies getting ready for Karen's birthday dinner. The first two to arrive on the scene are Karen and Giselle. Karen starts out with briefing Giselle and her know, like, hey, Mia has decided that she doesn't want to host my birthday dinner anymore. This is just going to be a regular dinner. Giselle responds with, okay, all right. In this moment is when I realized as a viewer that certain cast members refuse to acknowledge Mia's behavior and they will continue to excuse it. You would think that in this moment, Giselle would want to bond with Karen and say, hey, I think it's very childish that Mia's not hosting your birthday dinner, especially when you don't have anything to do with this situation. But of course, Giselle doesn't have anything to do with this situation and it doesn't benefit her, so she's not going to stand up for what's right. Moving along to the scene with Jacqueline and Mia. Mia's having a discussion with Jacqueline and she says, didn't Karen say that she didn't want me to host her birthday dinner? We all know good and well that that's not what Karen said. Jacqueline lets her know that no, that's not what she intended. She's just saying that because you've hosted other things for her birthday, if you don't want to host her birthday dinner, this is not something you necessarily have to do. But of course, Mia has her own interpretation of things in her head and how things should have went and how they did go. But we all know she's wrong.
Oh, this girl is delusional.
So Jacqueline decides that she's still going to go to the party and she goes downstairs and she actually helps the hired entertainment set up and let the other girls know that Mia's under the weather, but the show must go on for the night. And so the rest of the ladies start coming to the table. Robin arrives, and then lo and behold, Mia arrives last. And honestly, I knew she was coming because let's be real, were you really going to sit in your room while the ladies were having dinner? No, you just wanted to have a moment and then have the ladies talk and ask and wondering where you were, but it failed. It didn't work. They really didn't care. So this dinner seems to be going well. Everybody's enjoying themselves in the entertainment. And of course, Ashley has to put on her executive producer hat and she starts the conversation off and she asks Mia and Karen how their talk went. Karen kind of lied and she said the conversation went well, even though we know and she knows that the conversation did not go well. She just says that they checked it up to miscommunication, but it's more of, Mia, you just need to grow up and you're not going to tell me how I'm going to be with my friends. And so Karen, she kind of switched the situation back and she was like, Ashley, I enjoy having lunch with you, Wendy, and Candiace, and I'm proud of how you and Candiace have been handling yourselves. And so that's when Ashley lets Karen know, like, well, we kind of decided to table it, but we do need to talk because we have something that we need to discuss. So then Ashley proceeds to let Candiace know in front of the group that Chris threatened her on Twitter and she wanted to talk about it. So here's my problem with Ashley. Ashley in the beginning of the season brought the situation with Chris to Candiace in a private setting when it was just her and Candiace. And before she did that, she said, I know that Candiace does not like when I bring stuff to her in front of the group. So why would you bring this Twitter beef or battle brawl that you're trying to make up in your head about Chris in front of the group? That's where I get confused because Ashley wants to work on her relationship with Candiace and wants things to get better, but it seems like she's always the one taking the steps back and not moving forward for them to even get better. So she gets on the topic of this tweet from Chris. Giselle decides to chime in and she was like, well, I thought he was talking about me. And then Candiace let them both know he was talking about both of y'all. Y'all sit up here wanting to accuse my husband of things. He's going to vent on Twitter. and says how he feels. And honestly, let's be real, he has every right to. If they're going to sit up here and drag his name and try to accuse him of being flirty or being inappropriate, he has every right to speak out for himself and defend himself, whether it's on a public platform or not, because let's face it, you guys are saying this stuff on camera and you know that we're going to see it. So he's saying what he has to say so it can be seen as well. He's playing at a fair battle, that's all, and I guess the ladies aren't used to that. And so Candiace honestly pays Ashley what does, and she says what's next. So they see it as her being dismissive to the situation, and that's not what she's trying to do. I feel like they want Candiace to react in a certain way, and she's getting smarter with these things and knowing that I'm not about to give you guys the moment that you're asking for. So she goes around the table, and Candiace is like, asking everyone, do you have a problem? Do you want to discuss something? Charisse, do you have something to say? Of course, boring Charisse, she ain't got nothing to talk about. So she's like, of course not. And then as soon as, the conversation is about to end is when Charisse says, I find it funny that when we all get together, there's always confrontation. Girl, that's what we want to see. Producers, please do not bring Charisse back next season. There's no reason to. And so Mia decides to chime in, and she says that she finds it funny that Candiace is defending her husband and it's okay, but when she defends her husband, it's a problem. First of all, Mia, two different situations. Candiace is not defending her husband right now by throwing drinks on Ashley or hitting her with her purse. Those are things that you did to Wendy. So she's not defending her husband in that way. You can defend your husband with words. You don't have to be physical with someone. So no, the point that you're trying to prove is not there. And again, the green-eyed bandits don't speak up and say anything like Mia. It's not the same situation. It's not the same situation. Nobody ever checks Mia. That blows my mind. That is really mind-blowing. And so Candiace says, you know what? When I don't address something in a certain type of way that you want me to, I'm defensive. When I scream and yell, I'm aggressive. I can't win with you guys. And honestly, when you look at it, she can't. Everybody's going to have something to say about her and how she handles the situation. And it may not be to their liking, but they don't hold each other to that degree. So then Jacqueline chimes in, and the reason why, I don't know, because this has nothing to do with her. And she says, you're being dismissive. And let me tell you something. Candiace shut her down real quick and said, rat-ta-ta-ta. I'm not talking to you. I will not be bombarded by me as representative. Y'all, when I tell y'all I cackle. Can we all just agree that Candiace is that girl this season? Like in previous seasons, I really didn't care for Candiace, but this one right here, oh, homegirl is coming through guns blazing. And she might be by your boy Andy at the reunion. I'm just saying. I'm going to go ahead and call it out early. So it's day 3 in Miami. It's the last day that the ladies will be there. And Mia lets the ladies know that they'll be splitting up in groups. Group A will consist of Mia, Jacqueline, Giselle, and Karen. And Group B will consist of Charisse, Ashley, Candiace, and Robin. And Mia basically lets them know that Group A will be going off with Karen to celebrate her birthday, and then Group B will be going off on a boat. So, the ladies split up in cars, and those car conversations are always worthwhile. So car B, which is the car with Candiace, Robin, Charisse, and Ashley, Candiace is like, I'm going to text Wendy about coming on a boat with us because I don't want her sitting in her room all day. Because Wendy has been at this hotel since the incident occurred, and honestly, it's just mind-blowing that they're really ostracizing her in that way, as if she was the aggressor and did something wrong. So the car is kind of quiet, and Robin lets out this, like she's over the idea of Wendy even joining them. Mind you, I don't even understand why Robin is that upset when the situation didn't directly affect her. She just doesn't like Wendy. Like, you really don't like this woman that much that you can't even be cordial around her? What did she do to you besides tell the truth about you and your situation with Juan? Did it hurt that much, Robin? You gotta let that hurt go, girl. So, let's go to Car A's conversation. Car A consists of Jacqueline, Karen, Mia, Giselle. So they're having a discussion, and Karen is like, we are in a group of ladies and we have mutual friends that some of us, pretty much don't like. How do we move forward? So, of course, Mia's representative chimes in and she says, Mia needs apologies. Like, at this point, Jacqueline, just stop talking. I really don't want to hear any more from you from this episode, but I know that I'm going to, but you really need to be quiet, because what in the world would you think that Mia deserves an apology for? And you don't think Wendy deserves one? Stop it. Like, please stop enabling her behavior. All of you. So back to Car B. Candiace is like, Robin, I want you to be okay with this too. Robin says, I don't care. So of course Robin don't care when Giselle isn't there to be down her neck to say that she does care. So Candiace FaceTimes Wendy, and Wendy's down. She's like, yeah, I'll show up. Y'all, Mia has to be the worst host in Potomac history. Excuse me, Housewives history. Because now she had Group B in this booze cruise paddle boat. I'm sitting up here thinking they about to get on a nice little yacht, a boat or something, cruise the waves. But no, they got to do work and paddle. So they were pretty much over that. And of course, Wendy joins them, and Ashley executive producer Darby goes in for the kill and asks Robin, what's going on with the wedding plans? And so Robin's like, we plan to do something really, really, really small. And then like Ashley's trying to pry to get information, because y'all know how Ashley is. She gonna get the tea. She gonna do her TikToks, but she gonna get that tea first. So she's like, why are you being so coy? And then Robin says, I don't want to talk about this in front of people that don't like me. Clearly talking about Wendy. And it's like, at this point, Robin, ask yourself, why are you even doing this? Why are you acting that way towards that woman? Please, let somebody know. And ain't nobody worried about the plans that you really don't have with your roommate. Stop it, Robin. You know why you don't want to tell them about the plans of the wedding? It's not going to be a wedding.
Keep saying it. Just keep saying it. Keep saying it out loud. And maybe you will convince Hope, because you won't be convincing anybody else. So dream on.
So after the ladies have enjoyed their days separately, they all come back together to the house and they're getting ready for the evening because they're going to be going out for the night. And so, of course, Robin has to report everything to Giselle because that's her master. And she shares a snippet of this recording of Candiace, and it's a Facebook Live recording. And basically Candiace is saying how she doesn't really trust any of the girls and none of them are loyal. And Giselle's acting shocked throughout all of this. Now, I couldn't understand why Giselle was so shocked when you are one of the people she's addressing. You're not loyal and you are spreading things about her husband. So why are you being so shocked by what she's saying? It should just roll off for you. And then, Robin, I don't understand why you're shocked either, especially with your actions on the trip and how you've been acting this entire time, ostracizing Wendy, being a bully. Why are you shocked? Robin's really reading too much into the live, and she feels like Candiace is addressing the whole entire group, Wendy included. And she feels like the whole group needs to know how Candiace feels about them. But my thing is, if Candiace wanted to hide it, why would she have made a live? She can say anything that she wants to say on her social media platforms. If it offends you, it offends you. But you can't tell her where to post her feelings and how she feels about things. She didn't even say any names in the snippet that you're playing. She's just addressing you guys generally. And then for you to automatically assume she's talking about you. Honey, if the shoe fits, then wear it. Because obviously you're guilty if you feel guilty. So the ladies are finally ready to head out, and before they leave, Candiace lets everyone know, like, look, y'all, this is our last night in Miami. Would anybody have a problem with Wendy coming? And of course, we all know who has the problem. Mia is like, you guys have already asked me 7 times if she can join. I don't like her. I don't want her to come. And so, the group just kind of leaves it at that. But Ashley in her confessional, she can't understand why Mia's still on this power trip. And she doesn't understand why she's not over the situation yet. And my thing is, if Mia can be around all of the women, why can't Wendy? Especially when Mia was the physical one. She's the one that got violent. it's not fair that she's able to still move throughout the group freely while Wendy has to be locked in that room. That's not fair. And none of the other women are speaking up. The only ones that have tried to get Wendy included in anything is Candiace. Like Charisse, the fly on the wall, she doesn't say anything when this stuff is being mentioned because she doesn't want to lose her alliance with the Green Eyed Bandits. And that's that. Everybody sees it and everybody knows it. This season, I'm really proud. Even though Ashley is being messy, but we need that mess, I'm glad she's gotten away from Giselle's spell. Ashley now has her own brain and her own mouth, and she can speak for herself, and she knows that this is wrong. So I do like that Ashley also chimes in for Wendy as well. Those are the only two that have stuck up for Wendy, and that's Ashley and Candiace. The rest of the women on the cast should all be ashamed of themselves. Every last one of them. The ladies arrived to the restaurant, and they're all being seated, but the only person that's missing is Ashley. So Ashley dips off to the side, and like I said, Ashley knows how to put on that executive producer hat, and she wears it well. So she decides to call Wendy, and she's like, hey, we're at Santorini. You should come by. We're having dinner. And Wendy lets her know, okay, let me get dressed, and I'll be coming on by. So Ashley returns to the table, and, the women are kind of looking like, where you been at? And so, someone asked, everything okay? And she's like, yes. I just got off the phone with Wendy, and she's nearby, and she's going to be coming to dinner. Y'all, when I tell you Mia was upset, she gonna look at Ashley talking about something, you disrespectful little girl. Mia, stop it. You don't run this show, boo. This is not your show. So for some reason, Charisse, no storyline, has to jump in, and she says, Ashley, I don't understand why you made the decision without talking to the group. First of all, Charisse, this is not your group. You're a friend of. This is Ashley's group, boo. Stop it. And Ashley's like, well, I don't understand why Wendy left her family to come hang out with this group, and she's being ostracized because of a situation that happened with Mia. But of course, Ashley is not about to let anyone punk her. And she looks at Mia and she's like, so what are you, Mia? A bully? Because that's really what you are being at this point. And y'all know Candiace is going to be funny with that mouth. And she looks at Jacqueline and she's like, you're not going to jump in to help your friend? Then Robin gonna have the nerve to chime in talking about some, Ashley, put yourself in Mia's shoes. If you had a confrontation with someone, would you want them to be here? Then of course Candiace gonna let them know I am here because she did have a confrontation with me. And what did the both of them do? They put it to the side. And that's one thing I don't understand. If Candiace has to sit with two women, Giselle and Ashley, that have spread rumors about her husband, then why can't Mia sit with Wendy? Make it make sense, because it don't. So in walks Wendy. Wendy comes to the table. She's only greeted by a few, basically the women that are mature enough to speak to her. And as soon as she sits down, Ashley's just like, do you guys think that we can, basically recap what happened? And Wendy, she speaks first and she's like, basically talking to the group, I can apologize for my actions in escalating with Mia. And in all honesty, Wendy is a class act. I commend her for her charisma as a woman, a strong Black woman, because first and foremost, she should not be apologizing. She escalated the situation after she was attacked. She defended herself. She could have defended herself physically, but she defended herself verbally. So I don't understand why she's apologizing. So of course, when she apologized to Mia, Mia acts as if she doesn't know who she's talking to. She acts like a child. And at that point, I would have just been like, whatever. That's the last of it you'll hear from me, because I'm not apologizing again. And I hope that Wendy doesn't apologize again, because Mia doesn't deserve it. So, of course, Robin has to have a moment. And she pulls out her Bluetooth speaker, and it's the conversation that Candiace was having on her Instagram Live, and how she was saying that none of the ladies were loyal, along with a few other things. And Robin ambushes her, and she wants to know why she's addressing all the ladies. And of course, Candiace is going to stand 10 toes down on what she said, and said if it wasn't true, I wouldn't have put it on my live. Robin thought she ate. You really thought you ate, Robin Dixon? No, ma'am. Like, why would she be afraid to come out and say something that she put on her Instagram Live? Let's be real. Candiace at this point is blindsided because she thought that Robin was her friend and she couldn't understand why her of all people would even be doing this at this time. So Ashley chimes in and she's just like, well, why don't you just tell us all how you feel about us? Say it to our face. Candiace was like, I don't have no problem saying anything to your face. I don't like you. And when she got to the Giselle, I pretty much don't like you either in your mouth and everything that you do. Karen's confused because she's like, what I have to do with any of this? And Candiace is like, you know what? None of this is about you, Karen. Ashley takes wind of this and she decides to tell Karen. She's like, I don't want to have to do this, but Candiace is pretty much going around saying you sleep with other men. And it's like, Ashley, why did you feel the need to say that in that very moment? Was it because Ashley wasn't talking about Karen and you wanted to tell Karen something to make her feel bad? I don't understand. Karen was so hurt. Like, I think outside of whatever they do on this reality show, like, Karen legit had hurt in her eyes, because I really do think that Karen looks like at Candiace as if she's her little sister. So for her to hear something like that, it just sidetracked her. Like, why would you, say something about my marriage? And let's be real, this is not the first time that Karen's marriage has been attacked on this show. So you have to understand her frustration and where this is even coming from. Where Ashley went wrong is she didn't provide the full context of the conversation. If we go back to that conversation, Candiace was simply relaying something that Charisse told her. Charisse is the one that started that rumor. And Candiace thought that her and Ashley were cool in a safe setting between the two of them. And she just told her the same thing. It wasn't that Candiace was telling her that information to be spiteful towards Karen. It was more of like, well, this is what Charisse saying. So y'all know Karen don't play. She let the table know, unless you have names, videos of me with that person, stop trying to attack me in my marriage, because I've been here before. And she got up and she walked away pissed. So after that catastrophic dinner, everybody decides that they need a night out to unwind, and everybody decides to go to the club except Giselle, because y'all know she a granny. So the other girls go out and they have a good time. Even Wendy goes with them. I mean, the girls look like they are really enjoying themselves. You can even see when Wendy and Robin start talking to each other. Mind blown, because I did not see that coming until the end of the night came and they leave the club and Robin and Candiace are in the same car and Ashley's in the car with them. And they end up getting in the nastiest shouting match over how Robin did Candiace at the dinner and brought the speaker out. Candiace was legit hurt. And you know how emotions start to fly when you're drunk. So I really believe both ladies were drunk. But Candiace had every right to question her. Maybe not at that time because they were all leaving the club, drunk. But eventually she would have needed to have that talk with Robin. So that would have came regardless of it being after the club or not. But it's got me pretty excited for the rest of the season, y'all. But in the comments how y'all feel, especially about the ladies recording each other in these type of settings and then trying to use this information to hurt the other person. Come on, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time.